Show. Elsa Payne, Chairman.
Present.
Ian Featherstone, Vice Chairman.
Present.
George Dequist, Secretary, Present. Chuck Worley.
Present.
John F. Claffey, Jr.
Present.
Jason Becker.
Present.
Peter Stump, alternate.
Present.
And Robert Senger, alternate.
You called in, you can't make it.
Absent. Thank you very much. Roll call has been taken, Madam Chairman.
Okay, so we don't need to seat Mr. Stump?
We do.
We do, okay. For the vacancy?
Right.
Okay, so you are seated.
Good, I can't stand that long.
Okay, please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 13th?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of April 13th.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any comments from the board on minutes or questions?
Okay.
No? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Does any member want to address the board? Do you have anything?
Just as general knowledge, was in the Harbor News. It was the May 2015 payment due sheet, which is very informative for all of us. So that just came out now. So I just want to mention that to all of you. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, moving along to staff reports, starting with financial.
Yes, we have invoices, and the first one, Shipman and Goodwin, is in fact $8,695.50. But it has been brought to my attention that the subtotals for engineering contract and enforcement don't add up. I think it's a my bad, just missed something. But we have that bill. We have Fuss & O'Neill for March 2015 and CRAD for 2015. Fuss & O'Neill is for $13,001.16. CRAD is for $2,678.44. And the quality data service for the billing work, they print the bills, stuff them, fold them, and mail them. And the bill for that was $760.24. The final non-construction bill I'd like to deal with separately.
Okay. I'll make a motion to pay the bills to Shipman and Goodwin for $8,695.50, Fuss & O'Neill for $13,001.16, CRAD for $2,678.44, and Quality Data Service for $760.24.
And I shall second that motion.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review? Do you have any questions or comments? No? Not hearing any. All those in favor of paying the non-construction invoices signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
Okay, this construction management escrow overpayment. Basically what happened is, as properties sold during construction, Clean Water Funds requires that any outstanding benefit assessment be paid off at closing. Because we did not know what the escrow or what the benefit assessment would be for soft costs, we collected what we had originally talked about, that, because we knew that it would certainly not be more than that, and that was $2,875, something like that. And that was, a check for that was cut at these closings. And Bob Fish kept an escrow account at Liberty Bank. We have now obviously sent out the benefit assessment at $975. This list of individuals are those that require reimbursement from the escrow in the amount of $26,303.95.
Okay. May I have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we repay these amounts to these homeowners for the escrow amounts over withheld in the amount of $26,303.95.
I shall second that motion.
Any
First
com-
question,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different values. Was there different escrow amounts withheld, or was there costs?
Yes, there was. I mean, we gave out a $28.75, and sometimes it was translated to $28.95 or $28.87.50. So, early on, you'll notice the ones that are, there are four that are less than 1,000. And those were properties that were sold prior to the February meeting where we had 2,800. And I, at that point, was asking them to give me $1,500.
No, that explains
So
it.
that explains the difference from those four.
Okay.
Thank you.
The other thing that, because it's benefit assessment, our bills have been out for a week.
What do we want to call this question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, anyone else have comment or question? Okay. All those in favor of repaying these escrow amounts signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay, go ahead.
The bills have been out for a week. We billed $114,251.59. We have received $77,064.14 from people who have paid in full, and an additional $12,770.59 from people who have paid their installments. And that's in a week. So I think what we have found is that a great many of the people are paying the $975 in total. And there are a number of people who apparently were waiting to see what the total would be between the two, between the hard and the soft, and they paid the hard off when they paid the soft off. And that is my benefit assessment report.
Thank you. Anything else?
We have another invoice on page 2.
Construction invoices?
Oh, thank you. See, it gets so long that Page 2, we have begun. Meadowwood, Ingham Hill, Meadowwood 1. There are 4 invoices, 3 of which are within the normal contract, would be 4, 5, and 14 Allendale. 5 Edmund Road was an emergency. The total for the 4 invoices are $39,140.
May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion that we pay the bill totaling $39,140.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, are there any questions from the board? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Yeah, are you done?
I think so.
We'll have the coordinators report.
Just a couple of things. We have most of the data up to Fresno Hill, for like the first bid for, Maple Avenue. We really just looking for the, designation sheet from Craig, Hank and Richard. We were supposed to have that by the end of the day. So just a couple of little things, couple of missing soil tests. Maybe another couple of weeks before the bid package is ready for review. And then we review it, then reviews it, Brad reviews it, and it goes to Dennis. And then right after that, we're hoping the next full contracts will follow, thinking, other babies in. And then plus Sunday will get us a new schedule to make our, Indian Town, soil testing, we have about 92 properties now that we're gonna do. And we're looking at, how we send the postcards out, we say, we're coming to your area, we're surveying. We thought maybe we send a nice postcard out saying we're gonna be in the neighborhood starting in May. So we have the language for that, we're working with Jen, we send a postcard out in the next couple of days. In May, we're soil testing in Indian Town, going down the streets. So we're hoping that maybe people won't be, I don't think it's important, I need to know when, we can't call people up and say, we're coming to your house this day, and we cannot schedule 100 soil tests. We have to be more like utility companies, where we say, we're doing Quidneck, we're doing out of Wanhood, this is where we're gonna be. If you have any issues, call the office and try to work it out. So postcards go out in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So basically, we're just meeting and getting together, talking about Indian Town and the approach there, and talking about get together with the people maybe this summer. So when we come up with a real plan.
Mm-hmm.
Question on that, the addresses, is it the permanent residency or the Saybrook residency that these cars are being sent to?
They go to where they live.
Okay.
But most of them are not here.
Right. It's still winter.
Feels like it, huh? Yeah, well, it snowed over the weekend. Yeah. Question for Robbie.
Yes.
What is the status of the pump out program? Are we tracking that? Are we sending out?
We're still
Notices?
waiting for, we want to do an import first. We're still waiting for, or I should say an export. Larry Hayden, our IT manager, is working with Carly, because it's such a mess, the data. The cards go to the wrong places and so on, and we think we have, 6,000 properties that have been pumped out, or more like 3,000. So when we do our export and get all the address is correct, then we have to go back and start doing them in earnest. So Melissa and I were hoping to really start in the spring, maybe next month.
And how long has it been since we've been?
I think it was like last year at this time.
Yeah,
It's been, as I said, such a mess. And then we wound up sending cards to people who've done it, and the data, the addresses are all wrong. So, as Larry, works at that economy, we had to go through every field and look at the database to try and match things up.
Yeah, I think it was a couple, 3 months ago, I had indicated that I'd gotten a postcard from a pumper who had done my system 5 years ago, waving the flag, hey, it's time.
That's our saving grace, and some of the pumpers are 10 yards.
So I'm getting my system pumped.
We'll make
A month,
sure we have-
month late.
I'm gonna check.
Better than a year.
I'm gonna see if he input it.
Yeah, actually, I think there was a problem the last time with them inputting it. We had to check on it something like 6 months afterwards because you told me that it wasn't in there and something happened. But they kept track of it and sent me postcards, so that was good.
Wow.
Hopefully next time we'll have better news there.
Well, it's definitely a worthwhile program. I mean, it is really cheap insurance to be proactive with your system every 5 years to pump it out for a nominal cost versus ruining your entire
And we're
system.
committed to it. We have our ordinance, we pay Carmody every month. And it's for the rest of the town to keep up the system, so, yeah. People come in a lot, you'd be surprised. They come in and say, when do I guys do it? Or the realtors come in and I can able to pick up Carmody and give them information. I can even print out their pump outs.
It needs to be accurate too.
Yes, that would help. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Robbie. Steve?
Good evening. Since we last met, I've had 8 resident issues to address. 5 of them were from phase 1, a couple of punch list items, things that needed to be completed. They're either in process or have been completed. A couple of them were complex only because they involved communications and deals that were made between the residents and the contractors, so we get involved at the end when things don't work out exactly right. So trying to work on those. We had 2 appeals from the Meadowwood section when Jim Monopoly sent out the order to upgrade. One of those residents was in the Clean Water Fund program and was badly misinformed, so I spoke with her. She was very comfortable with the right information and is going to abandon that appeal. The other person also had incorrect information. She was an opt-out, so I had to ultimately refer her to Jim for an extension since it's in Crad's hands at this point. And the last issue was a more complex zoning issue that needed to get resolved. And I had to have a meeting with the resident and Chris Costa and Don Lucas so that, zoning was satisfied and then we could design a system based on the zoning regulations. It involved 2 structures on a property and the resident wanted one system. So we were able to work that out. The scope of work contract, put a fair amount of time into. I had to develop a complete list of properties that we're looking at, both for due diligence for the state and we met with Wright Pierce last Tuesday, so the list was in preparation for that. And we spent a fair amount of time qualifying those properties to determine which ones we were gonna pursue and when. We have 2 that we'll pursue right away. We have maybe about 8 maybes that we're looking at. So I had to secure access to one of the properties and was able to do that. And we'll continue to look, even though we have a list at this point, we haven't, it's prudent to just keep our options open, so we're looking at that. We had a staff meeting last Thursday to address a number of kind of issues that have come to a head for us. We're trying to be as efficient as we can. We have a lot of work to do this year. We got a little bit of a late start because of the weather. There's a second contract on the agenda tonight, but we have 5 more, so we need to look at our bid process, and we talked about some ways we might try to shorten that and get these out. Robbie was talking about a balancing act that we're trying to have between notifying residents and also creating an efficient process for our field staff. I understand the residents' concern, and if we can accommodate them in terms of when we do this work, we try to do that. But at some point, we lose so much efficiency that we're just not gonna be able to get this done. We need to have equipment on the street, go down that street ideally. It's never gonna be perfect, but we need to work on making that as efficient as possible. And Robbie was talking about one of our options in terms of trying to communicate to the whole community, put the information out there so that people have an awareness that we're coming. Couple of last items. There was a letter to the editor in the Harbor News last Thursday from Joel Anderson. and it referred to the Shipman and Goodman fee, and why wasn't that bid out for phase two? First of all, it's not a contract. The number it appears to be the estimate for legal work for the entire phase two. I think that's what he's referring to. And Shipman and Goodman is our attorney. There's no need to bid that. It's not a qualification. So the only thing I can say about that is that we've done everything that's appropriate relative to that issue. We also got an email from Mike Evangelisti talking about our test hole process and the permits for electrical and plumbing work that was done. Raised some questions about the process and also the cost. First, with regard to test holes, we try to do the test hole in proximity to where the new system is going to be put in. That's the ideal. It doesn't always work out that way for several reasons. And CRAD has the option always of requesting a second test hole. You may recall the first test hole for all residents is free. Town pays for it. When there's a second one, the charge is only for CRAD's participation, which is about $110. So, you know, that happens occasionally, but it's very prudent work in terms of what information they need to make sure that system is being put in properly. So we addressed that. The permitting issue, there was some legitimacy to the questions that were raised. It's the responsibility of the contractors to pull those permits. They were not doing so every time. So Jim Vanoli took a look at that, and he's tightened up the process to make sure that happens and that's in place. So just to let you know, I mean, we look at whether it's for Mike or other residents, we do, you know, vet the issues and try to look for what needs to get addressed. So those have been the things that last couple of weeks we've been working on most.
I just want to add,
Staff is really struggling with, you know, some of these things are not easy to work out in terms of process issues. It's just a lot of conditions to satisfy.
I want to thank you, and I had a copy of the comment from Joe Anderson. I'm just going to read one sentence, which you said, Shipman and Goodman did the legal work on phase one. The question that he posed, when did WPCA put phase two legal work out to bid? So thank you for your comments on him.
Yeah, and that number was an estimate that was generated for a funding application. It's not a contract, it's not work that is
Yes.
awarded or will necessarily be done.
Okay, good.
It's just an estimate.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any questions for Steve? Oh, I'm sorry, were you
I'm not-
done? Yeah. Are there any questions for Steve? No?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have any old business, so we're moving on to new business. Meadowood 2 contract recommendation, review and award. Steve, do you wanna, you have before you the letter of recommendation from Fuss and O'Neill. Do you wanna review this to the
No,
board?
the
or-
contract's been, you know, we got the bids, they vetted it, it's ready to go. We need your approval.
Can I have a motion to award this contract to
Sure.
JTR LLC?
I'll make the motion that the Old Saybrook WPCA award the contract for Meadowood 2 to JTR LLC, the lowest responsive bidder, for the amount of $378,085.
I shall second that motion.
Are there any questions or comments from the board?
I had a question. On the bid items, numbers 3 through 27 are accessory ancillary items. Why are they listed that way? This is as an example, tree removal, stump removal, effluent pump system, for 2.
It's the way the bid is constructed for those particular items that they apply.
versus identifying it to a particular property, I guess was the question.
Those are unit prices, because not every property would require the work. It's sort of like, the kitchen sink, you know, that it's everything that can possibly happen on a property, and I don't think we've ever used or employed a number of those items on any property.
It's a way to compare one bidder against another too, for particular items.
Right, but you've got, say, tree removal, quantity 6, between 4 and 12. I mean, there's gotta be some reasoning behind selecting the numbers.
It's the engineer's estimate
Yeah.
of how many potential,
From looking-
So it's just a guess, they haven't identified a particular property.
Yeah, it's not always possible to know exactly
I
how
see.
many, but they have an idea from the preliminary, data and design.
So out of the entire bid, they think that there may be 2 systems that are gonna need effluent pump.
Right.
Okay,
But each bidder is bidding on the same quantity.
yep, okay.
And they're guessing that, looking at aerials or some other basis, 6 trees are likely to be impacted
Okay.
in that size range. But it may be 2 and it may be 12. You know, they
And the
don't
same thing
know
with the number of
until they
trees.
actually go out and do the work.
Yeah, okay.
And this contract is also with JTR, and, so he's, thinking of putting another crew on to keep this work going, but we're pushing to get the next contract going as well, so that we can have more people out there working. We really
Yeah, we need to get
push.
going.
We
We
need to
do.
push.
I'd like to comment, these additional items are valuable because we don't have to go to competitive, we've already gone to competitive bid, basically, to
Right.
do these extra items.
It's not a change order.
That's right,
Yeah.
exactly, and so it makes modifications, adjustments much more
Yeah.
realistic.
Over the past year, Jim Manoli has done a number of things to try to make that process, more fair and more efficient.
Anyone else? Okay. All those in favor of awarding this contract signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay.
Also, just one more comment in regard to that. We have an open position, so we're looking at filling that, but it's possible we may need more staff in terms of field, depending on the work, so we're looking at that as well. And
Oh, okay.
it would be clean water funded in the contract, but the state has considered us understaffed for a long time, so I don't think it'd be an issue on their part, but it's part of our looking at the work we need to get done this summer. So we'll report on that in another meeting.
Okay.
Are we gonna advertise for the positions?
For the contract, you don't have to, I think we will, just to see what help is out there in the community. We actually wanted to do that, and that sort of stimulated the discussion about exactly what we were gonna do with that position and what we needed, so we haven't quite gotten that far.
But it's for a field crew. It's for field work, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the office staff has volunteered to take up a little more of the data entry part of it, which is a way that we can help. And we just, we have to continually kind of reshuffle and move things around, and everybody picks up where they need to make it happen.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, we'll now open up for public comment. I just want to make one comment about this session. The intention of the public comment session is to solicit comments from the public. We don't necessarily have the resources here to resolve any issues that you have, if you have issues. pertaining to a particular property, you need to go see the staff, make an appointment and see the staff, so, I just wanted to make it clear, because we don't have the materials here to the references that we need. And, it's mainly for the board to hear what the public is thinking. So with that, does anyone care to speak? No?
Well, you speak of accuracy, just wondering if you've fixed the inaccuracy of the as-built, the septic as-built that I've spoken of.
That's something you have to,
Okay.
you have to pursue with the right people that,
All right, well, you know, here we are, I don't have time to pursue, but yet the homeowner can't do what he wants to do. The surveyor hasn't been paid, and it's bad record.
Have we ever identified the property specifically?
Absolutely, I've spoken,
Is that, I heard that was not the case.
I have given Gracia the
question is,
property
is
address.
he Rick the surveyor?
I was in the next day.
He is not the surveyor in question. He's representing another surveyor, is our understanding.
So,
So we do not quite understand the point of all of this.
The point being, you speak of accuracy, and I agree with that 100%.
well, we can't establish accuracy at this meeting. My
Okay, well,
suggestion is you go bring your
I know. Put
your
me
your
off again,
proof to the right.
Proof? Huh? Come on now. It's a bad record. The surveyor cannot
Well,
plot the dimensions on a plan.
Well,
So-
you have to show someone who
Absolutely. The surveyor has been to CRAD. CRAD says they're waiting on you.
well,
So, you know, and I'm just speaking for the public here. You know,
I
how are you gonna
understand.
find the tank to pump it out if the dimensions are incorrect? Simple stuff.
well, you
I'm
have,
glad you chose Wright Pierce as someone to work with. When I worked with them in Maine, I found them to be a very intelligent company. I only moved on because I was offered a better job, but they're gonna help you a lot.
thank you. Well, thanks for that. All right, anyone else? Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a
Right.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion that we adjourn at 8:03.
Just keep
PM.
All
playing
the,
this role.
okay,
Go
all
ahead.
those in favor, aye, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I had a question of Ian and you.